youngest people that you ever did see. Younger than springtime or a newborn baby. And the show is gonna surely make you shout. Yes, ma'am. We're talking about 5 questions with James and Jam. Yeah, that's it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Lord.
Did that
you
work?
and this entrance turnaround. I made
an entrance. It was good.
That was good. That was good.
Okay,
when
good.
I ordered you a fog machine. I ordered you a fog machine, some hair, and a fan machine. So that should be arriving for next week.
I'm going to be working with Beyonce's fan hair choreography person. It's going to be fabulous. Season 2 is going to be amazing.
Lit.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to 5 Questions with James and Jam. I am Jam, John Andrew Morrison, and that fabulous scintillating wonder over there in the red glasses is...
James Jackson Jr. Hello. That's a lot of J.
It's a lot of J.
It's a lot of J.
Is that alliteration or whatever?
I think that's what the people call it. People call it. We are here tonight. Is it roll call time? Are people here? People joining, I see.
Yes, people are joining. But if you are here, please let us know. Let us know that you are here.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen.
This is a big night. Ladies and gentlemen. This dance is for everybody. Hey, Caroline.
We have the scintillating, the glorious, the wonderful, the beautiful.
The devilishly handsome.
Hey,
LaDonna Burns.
Mr. B.D. Wong is our special guest today, and he's in the green room. He's actually here. Ladies and gentlemen, he's waiting, and we cannot wait to bring him in, but
this is
Edie
exciting.
Wong is going to be joining us.
Hey, Christine Shepstrong. Tom Lorio is in the streets. Tom is walking the dog.
He's always in the streets.
Yes. Well, it's just easier, like with the lag and all of that. So he's watching. He's listening, because our show could also work as a podcast. So people have said.
I don't know why you're resistant to me doing.
Because I'm a visual person.
Okay,
visual person. And but I do think the audio could live on somewhere. If people would like that, we'll talk about that for season 2.
We'll figure it out.
Y'all let us know. How was your week?
My week was great. I just want to. Okay, I can't. We have to acknowledge something major that happened today.
Yes.
So ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to throw this up. We did a thing.
But
I got to see James Jackson Jr. in the flesh.
Now, we have not seen each other in the flesh
for over a year.
It's over a year. And we did not know about, like, I was walking to the place and I got off the train and I was like, oh, I'm going to get to see Jam, like, in person.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you, your friends cried.
We cried.
We like openly wept. We literally openly wept
as we held each other.
It was so good.
It was. But
like, I forget what this is all going to be a lot for us to be able to see people now, and so. We haven't been in the same room in a year, and we saw each other today, and we got to hug, and we got to sing, and we got to see so many people.
Yes,
we cried like babies.
It was
openly
really,
wept. It was
really kind of amazing. I just want to tell you, my friend Corey Tudd is so he cussed me out 2 days ago. He was like, your show needs to be a podcast. And I was like, James doesn't want it to be a podcast.
It's not that I don't want it to be a podcast. I like it living in this live space. I think, yes, the audio could become
but what you don't know is that is being said with such shade. Yeah, a podcast is the audio. Like, that's the line reading that you're not getting.
I know.
That's what the podcast is. Okay, so
it's just the audio.
It's just
so audio. Season 2 is coming up. You know, we've got planning time. First of all, we have BD Wong tonight, which I'm nervous. I'm excited and scared. I'm all of the things. Into the Woods has been in my rotation today, so it's like I keep quoting things from it. But I'm nervous and scared, and I'm excited and scared, and I'm all of the things. But it's like royalty is here. I feel like BD Wong is my friend in my head. But like for years, like before I even lived 20 years before before I lived in New York, because I feel like, hi, Barbara Whitman.
Oh, hello, Barbara Whitman. Hi. Corey says it's with love. Is it?
Oh.
Is it, Corey Tut? It better be with love.
I feel like BD Wong does not need an introduction, but the list of things, we have our show meeting every week to learn about who our guests are beyond what we already think we know. And the list of things that BD Wong has been a part of was like, it just goes on and on.
Yeah. I mean, talent and kindness equals, good things happening to people. And like, he's one of these people that I'm happy when like a good thing happens to him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because he puts good into the world. But I mean, shall we run through some of the stuff? Tony Award winner for M. Butterfly.
M. Butterfly. Yeah. You're a good man, Charlie Brown.
Good man, Charlie. Law and Order.
Mm-hmm.
Father of the Bride movies.
One of my favorite movies. Yes. Father of the Bride.
Pacific Overtures. Pacific Overtures.
Yeah.
And recently during the pandemic, Songs from an Unmade Bed.
Yes, which was it was actually the first thing.
One of the first things
that I watched during like early pandemic of like, you can look what you can do
and it was beautiful
at home, and it was just beautiful and it was lovely. So I definitely we want to talk about that. But first. It's time for our first segment. 3 minutes, right?
3 minutes. Oh, where is the acid? 3 minutes. I know.
That was the closest it's ever been. I will say, though, it was pretty close. We sang today, and so we're warm. The instrument is warm.
Yeah.
So,
although I'm clear that I am the problem child when it comes to harmony in any musical situation.
No, you are not. I heard you today.
Let me tell you something. Like, Joel was given these like oohs, and the amount of times I was like, can you just run past bars 2 to 5 again? Because I don't know this ooh sequence. And I'm sure I rewrote, like, I'm sure they're not going to use like, they'll pop me in later.
No, they will not. I think that is an excellent energy. Asking questions is necessary. And I think that's an excellent energy to bring into the world as that thing called Broadway and like life returns.
This is true. Rather than pretending you know what's going on or you got it.
Like ask questions, like say what you need, which leads to our 3 minutes. It's a combo thing. So in our little show meeting yesterday or the other day, we wrote that things that people are looking forward to summer. We are referring to summer as thigh meat season.
Thigh meat season.
Because we have thighs.
Just and a lot of healthy thigh meat.
But people are also talking about like theater coming back and all of these performing opportunities coming back. And so there's all these people who are like doing a mad scramble to like, I got to do some squats and some sit-ups and I got to get it together and I got to get this body ready for the stage and built for the stage and then and Mark Fishered into fitness and all of that. And look, the quote that we realized we wanted to put out there for the world for our 3 minutes is that Broadway is going to get the body that Broadway gets. I'm not going out of my way. I'm not stressing myself out. It's already stressful enough to think about like being in a room or on a stage or in a dressing room or wherever. The subway is difficult. If you want me to add sit-ups to that, no.
It's not happening. Oh, wait. Was Erin here? Did she start the clock? You see, we never start the clock.
Erin, we emotionally start the clock for 3 minutes.
For 3 minutes. We never do it.
It is thigh meat season. So
yes, ma'am. Thigh meat season.
My shorts will remain short. I don't care. And Broadway is going to get the body that Broadway gets.
Amen to that.
And I'm gonna eat these Swedish fish today.
And like, you know, there was something about being back in the room with other people today that I was like, it's going to take a minute. Like, people are going to have a minute to just figure out how to hug and be in each other's company and breathe
I think
the
that's
same air.
a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You know, it might take us a little longer to get through bars, 1 through 17, but I think it's a very beautiful thing that we are going to stop for a second and say, hey, I know we're here to do this thing or rehearse this scene or do this dance steps or whatever, but can we please take a minute to just
appreciate and like go,
we're in a space. I see you. What do you need?
Yeah, you're
it's
okay.
The time to
and
ask
I'm glad
those
to
questions.
See you.
Yeah. And what I need are these thighs to be out.
So we're calling it thigh meat season. What are you calling the summer? What are you calling it?
Yeah.
Is it booty short weather? Like what are you calling it?
That's too far.
I wonder what BD Wong is going to be calling the summer.
It's very difficult. Like I just want to show up. I want to have days like today where I get to see my people.
Yeah.
And
it was good.
Exhale, be in an elastic waistband, and
it was really good. And I will say, anytime I get to be in a room with the silliness that is Molly Hager is a good day.
Mm-hmm. I do love her.
Joel Wagner can conduct the shit out of
things.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
He's brilliant. So it was a good day. But you know what? I think what we're doing right now is just kind of like delaying the joy for the people.
Mm-hmm.
We're building up the anticipations. and I think maybe we need
Is it time? It's
Look,
time.
I want it to be time. I think they want it to be time.
I know. I'm very excited to get him in the room.
Yeah, can I tell you something? He's given me movie star looks in the green room right now. He's full of swag and attitude, and he's like, "Yeah, I know I'm cute. I know I'm cute."
But also one of the nicest human beings.
Yeah.
So I am very excited to get to know him a little better.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we're going to bring in the wonderful, the fabulous, the scintillating, the glorious Mr. B.D. Wong.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Scintillating.
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 That is a good word.
Isn't it?
Should we do the whole show in
like an ASMR
voice today? Just like give everybody some of this.
Yes,
I feel like I would be terrible at that.
You would?
I think terrible? I would be. My voice is too high. So every time I try to do something down there,
no, that's perfect.
If I just came down here and
yes.
You know,
I might look into that.
You have one of these voices though, like your voice goes all over the place, doesn't it? Because like you've got like a little baritone, but there's a little tenor in it too.
A little, yeah, but it doesn't go that high.
It doesn't go that high. No, it's really it's baritone.
I always wanted to, always continue to want to sing higher, to belt higher.
Oh.
Screw that! Like this low gravel that you have is deeply satisfying.
It's working for you.
It's working.
Okay.
For me.
Then yes, of course.
For the people.
That's right. Yeah. I'm yeah. Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to BD Wong.
Hello.
Like, if you have any comments or any questions for him, please feel free to ask. BD, where are you right now? Where are you, my friend?
I am in my apartment in New York, in the very bottom of the lower Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
And very happily, so I'm in my little office.
Oh, fantastic!
And this is where I live, and I don't really spend much time anywhere else. I mean, I don't go to California and stuff like that.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And so I'm perfectly happy being share, especially now. Today was just a world-class, spectacular day.
Yes.
Wasn't it beautiful? It was just really
beautiful.
the last
yeah.
couple of days. It's been nice to like.
Yes.
LaDonna Burns says your voice is like butter.
Oh.
LaDonna, come sit by me.
Yes, LaDonna. BD Wong wants you to come sit by him. BD Wong. I'm afraid I'm going to
Also, Jam is the one who will always call someone by their full name.
Their full name.
I noticed that last week.
Well,
he was like,
a
Elizabeth
person
Taylor.
come on, a person with 2 first hyphenated names is going to do that.
Oh, I guess maybe that's it. Yeah. He definitely
They're not
uses
leaving a
first and
syllable
last
out.
name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
LaDonna Burns says, "Look,
Don't tempt me.
don't tempt me."
That's actually a
Be
conversation I would
careful
love
what you
to.
wish for.
Right.
Yeah, she'll come sit next to you, and then you'll be like, "Lord have mercy, she is sitting beside me."
If she's in this room, she must be good people.
She
She's
is
lovely.
She
She
is.
is
You would
lovely.
she's sort of in the best possible way. She's the Beetlejuice of like the theater world. If you're somewhere,
it's
this has
true.
happened to me on multiple occasions. I've been somewhere in other states even, and I've said the name in conversation. I was talking to LaDonna Burns, and someone has walked by and said, "Did you say LaDonna Burns?"
I like
I know. So she's a magical person like that. If you say it
touchstone.
enough,
Yeah.
someone that knows her, or she might herself, will show up.
Yes.
It's kind of lovely.
BD Wong, what are you going to label this summer? Are you? Do you have a moniker for this summer? Is it thigh meat season? What
Well, I can't take thigh meat season. Thigh meat season is taken. But I might maybe add, embellish it.
Oh,
Thigh meat season, bone in optional.
Bone in optional. Oh,
Thigh meat, bone in.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
Yes. Okay.
with his butter voice being all scintillatingly suggestive. I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate you.
I do too. Oh, I was about to ask your question, Jam.
Oh, my question. Oh, yes.
Okay. Are we already there?
Well,
Oh,
yeah. I mean, you know, we just
ease
kind of
in.
jump in. But my question really is about longevity. It's, you know, a friend of mine always says to me, you can't connect the dots forwards. You have to connect them backwards, right?
Mm, yes, I like that.
You can only connect them after you've done the thing. Da, 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 da.
Yes, right.
And you have one of these careers. You continue to have one of these careers where you're working at the highest level in on Broadway, on big budget movies, on long running TV shows. Like you've done all of the things. And in terms of connecting the dots backwards, was that always the plan?
Like to do a little bit of everything.
To do a little bit of everything, or to be like, I'm going to, my intention is to work at this level and I'm going to do everything to be able to do that? Or was it really a series of savvy decisions? Like, I'm going to take this and not do that? Or
What's the map look like?
well, and then one more option. Is it more of a belief and a spirit thing? Like, does BD Wong kind of like bet on himself and like has like a spiritual belief plan that's like, I'm going to let the chips fall where they may, and I'm going to make it. So basically, I'm asking you a long-winded question about longevity.
About what is it actually?
Yeah.
Whether it's any element of all of those things. I think it's the last thing, actually. It was me always saying this, be who you are and just go with whatever the tide, wherever the tide takes you, and do the best you can and all of that stuff. I had a pretty incredible relationship with my high school drama teacher-student relationship that was instrumental in kind of installing within me a certain kind of confidence and a certain ethic in myself that that we all have this potential and that it's kind of up to us to do up the best that we can to meet that potential, just the best that we can, and that it was kind of a responsibility. If someone has potential, you really owe it to yourself to do the best you can to be the best you can
with that.
And so I always stuck with that, and I never really tried to plan it. I really didn't ever try to plan it. It
never works when you plan it.
I don't think it does. I don't think planning is really. I mean, certain things. Yeah, I don't think in a bigger picture or in a spiritual way or in a metaphysical way, I don't think planning is really a part of it. It's the opposite of that, actually. It's kind of just going with the flow of it or whatever.
Yeah.
But in terms of, was being able to work at such a high level part of the plan, or was it like a hope and a dream? Like you're like, I hope I get to do that, or what? Or did you have a knowing or an expectation that like, yeah, I can do that, and I expect to do that?
I think it was a little of both. I mean, I think I always believe you never know what's going to happen. You could decide that you don't like this one day and completely pivot into something else.
Right.
That did not happen, and wasn't really that realistic a thing. But I was open to discovering that I could fail. And then if I failed, I didn't want to live a life of failing. So then therefore I was open to doing something else. I came to New York. I quit school to come to New York.
Really?
And so that was a part of my fervent wish to try to be a professional and to learn how to work. You're absolutely right. I didn't only want to work in the highest level of the business, but of course that's something we all, I think, aspire to. We dream about. I was one of those boys that watched the Tony Awards and thought, wow, that's something that would be great. Yes. And the only way to do that is to go step by step. And one of the first step was to move to New York. And so I did do that. So, but at the same time, I wasn't confident enough to know for sure anything. Of course, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't confident enough to say, oh, well, I know that's what I'm doing. But I did feel, I didn't feel like I didn't have to convince myself that I could evenly do it. I mean, I didn't need a pep talk to kind of get me to think, oh, you could, you just believe in yourself and all that stuff. I didn't really need that. I was open to where I would fit into various scenarios in various mediums and stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't need to be coaxed into trying it. I wanted to try it. I really wanted to. I was super game to do it. And still am. And I think as far as longevity is concerned, the reason why I'm still doing it is because I feel like I really still like that. I do like that part of it, the challenging part of it. And to be quite honest, it's really never been and continues to not be particularly easy. It's not. I mean, I think I feel blessed and I feel happy and grateful and all of that stuff. And I work and I'm happy to work. But on a day-to-day basis, with the particular identity that I have, talent aside, I suppose, it's not always easy to fit me in somewhere. That's how I feel. I think we all feel that way, right? We're all kind of square pegs or whatever. And we,
every day
we look for some in some ways exemptions to the traditional ways of thinking, so that we can do more as much as possible, so that we can expand our horizons, so that we can play roles that we might not, be thought of, in snap judgment kind of way. Think outside of the box and all of that on our behalf doesn't happen that often. So we do wish that for ourselves, all of us. So I did that. I do that, and I still do that.
It's interesting when you say, like, it's still a lot of work, right? Like it reminds me of my dad. He's run his own company. He still runs his own company for like 40 plus years. And like, he would come home after like winning a new contract, and he would always go, you know what success looks like? And we would go, what, Dad? He goes, more work. And it's so true, right? Like, like I think sometimes people go, oh, well, you've made it. You're on Broadway. Like, you can coast on Easy Street, or you can. But like, no, success actually means having to show up more, right?
Yes,
like
more,
it means having to do more work and be more responsible. Now you're more responsible for more people. You're, so there's something.
Yes, And that's why when you are talking to young people, you say you must absolutely love doing it. You can't just kind of take it that lightly. It will get harder and harder and more challenging, but that's the fun part. If that's what you want, and if you're into it and you're that kind of person,
Yeah.
then it's really great. I mean, like every new challenge is great. Every new kind of, wow, I actually haven't done that before. Okay, I think I'm ready to do that, whatever it is. And so that's a good thing. It can be a good thing. I think something's wrong if you're getting to the point where it's like, success, and I don't, like it's, as far as like people like your father, I always feel for them. I feel for people who have that kind of 9 to 5. Every day is kind of the same kind of thing. I think, wow, I know that I couldn't do that. I know that I wouldn't want to do that. The versions of that I've had in my life were not my favorite times in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, do them. I don't enjoy them.
He's very much into his job because he gets to run in country bush and like figure out how to put up a tower in the middle.
Okay. So there's something about the connection. I mean, there is a match there that works for him.
There is that thing of like creativity and figuring it out and like the problem solving of it that artists also have, like, well, how am I going to play it? Or like, how am I going to make this happen? So he has that too,
So what he was talking about was what you were saying, the myth that you get to a certain point and then it's totally,
and it's like,
there's some place that you get to which is kind of gravy or
right. Like,
you
you get this contract and you get all this money, but like now you have to deliver the work.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like it's not just, I've made it to Broadway.
Yes, the reputation creates a pressure.
Yeah,
and especially in our business, the reputation creates a you can't kind of just phone it in. I don't believe you can. I mean, when you see people doing that, it's infuriating because you want, and we all want opportunities, and then we finally, after all these years, we might.
And you see someone posting through, you're like, no,
yes, no, I'm not into that. Yeah.
Remember, everybody, you can ask BD some questions
you can.
or tell him how pretty he is.
You can always do that.
Tell me how pretty I am.
You're very pretty, Jam. You're very pretty.
Thank you. Thanks. Wow.
Now, so I have you have been on my radar forever, really. I feel like just like literally as long as I've wanted to be a performer and be in the theater, I have known of a BD Wong. And so for me, I have this thing where I always look for the others, like anyone who is different. I look for the queer people, the Black people, the people of color, the whoever in the sea of in the big white sea. I look for the others, and so I remember. Years and years ago, as I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I remember seeing a BD Wong, and I noticed to myself that BD Wong does not like play into a stereotype in a time where Hollywood and Broadway were not doing things with the best of intentions. This was someone who had this career who was just playing a fully realized real person, and the actor happened to be of Asian descent. But so I was thinking of like your character in Father of the Bride, for example. I remember seeing that and being like, I don't know, probably either I think it was in high school, maybe. So that requires a lot of standing up for yourself, I think. So we had these show meetings, these elaborate show meetings, Sam and I.
And the questions go on and on, and we're like,
what are we going to ask people? Each week, one of us thinks we're Diane Sawyer, the other thinks they're Barbara Walters. So it requires opening up like 800 tabs on the person on our computer and like reading information.
I love it.
And I remembered, I had forgotten this whole story about you in the 90s with the announcement that Miss Saigon was coming to Broadway, and you going to Actors Equity and saying, this is an issue that Jonathan Pryce is going to come and play this character.
Yes.
And like stood up for your community in a way that at the time I don't think a lot of people were doing. I found it very interesting that in that, like, of all people, Charlton Heston had to come and like insert himself in that.
Yes, right. Yeah.
So I've realized that this is a person who knows how to advocate and stand up for themselves.
That's nice. Yes.
That read to me at that age, and I didn't have the words for it then, and I do now. But I wanted to know where you get that, where that comes from, where your desire to obviously advocate for yourself, but even advocating for others, where does that come from?
I like to answer the first thing that pops into my mind. And when you said that just now, the answer that came into my mind was my mom and my dad, my mom and my parents. And most recently, my mom, who's 91 and just really vibrant and wonderful. And my dad's passed, but my mom is really kind of enjoying a really wonderful, energetic part of her life. And she recently dug up these old letters that she wrote in the early 70s, complaining to her boss about the fact that she found out in ways that were a little bit kind of, she did a little snooping around, and she found out that this gentleman in her office had been promoted and was being paid much more than she was.
Oh.
And she demanded retroactive pay for this period of time. And she wrote letter after letter for a period of many years.
Wow. Oh, wow.
On, and it stretched out and it stretched out, and she got the runaround. And she was a young Asian American woman working in this very, very white corporate environment. And eventually she got this check with no explanation or anything.
Wow.
She just got a check. They didn't even deal with it. They didn't acknowledge it. They didn't say anything. But she recently found the letters, and she sent them. She made copies, and she sent them to all my nieces and nephews, her grandkids, and to us. And that reminds me of this kind of like, oh yeah, that wasn't right. That wasn't right, and I wasn't.
Right.
And, probably there was I don't know how much this has to do with money, because money is very important to people of my parents' generation. And I don't know, it's a little bit of a stereotype, but Chinese Americans and money, and don't mess with my money. It's very important. And
do you remember all of this going on at the time?
I do remember it going on, and I was maybe 10 or something like that. I do remember it, and I remember there being a kind of like, oh, it worked out okay, like after a long period of time.
Right.
And so my mom has always been very kind of, yeah, you know what, this isn't right, and we shouldn't just let that go. And what I've learned over the years is that she's rather uncharacteristic of Chinese American women of her generation, actually. And now we're talking about the treatment of Asian people and all of the things, Asian people speaking out, and that's a real topic of conversation. And I have a different perspective of it that is really valuable, actually, because I am really aware that this is a very culturally deep thing, that the not speaking out, not making waves thing.
Right.
And I have
you have her as an influence.
But I have her as an influence, and so some of my choices, I think, are influenced by her and my dad being kind of almost righteous about certain things. They were not super political. They didn't go to protests. They didn't make a big deal about politics or anything like that. But in when it came to personal issues, I think they stood up for themselves. And so I guess that's what it was. And I was, of course, I hasten to add, one of a contingency of people. I got kind of pushed to the front because I think people knew my name or something like that. And so there was many more than me just doing this, but I did write a letter, and the letter got kind of, I don't know, leaked or something like that.
Right.
But it was super important. And I don't know if you want to get into it or not, but basically this was a conversation that was absolutely non-existent, to the point where the Asian people themselves couldn't even discuss it. They were like, well, you see, the reason why this is so wrong is because, we had no language skills to articulate
this was
issues.
Like 1990, I think.
1991 or 92, maybe.
Yeah.
I think 1992 is when it actually came, so it might have been 1991.
Yeah.
And there's so much to it's like a whole hour-long conversation about how it went down, because it started out hearing about this wonderful hit production on the West End, and David Wong, the playwright of M and Butterfly, and I having dinner and talking about somebody mentioning it to us, and it was us going, well, I mean, that's England, they don't do that here. We don't do that. They don't, because it was out and out yellowface in
Wow.
Yeah.
He had taped his eyes, and he was colored
Really?
and a yellowy
the
color.
whole thing.
Two characters in the show. Yeah. The brother. What's the character's name? Tui is like her brother or her ex boyfriend or something like that.
Oh, right. Yes.
He and Jonathan Pryce were both in full yellow drag.
Wow.
And so then the bargaining chip or the negotiating thing or whatever is that when he came, he was not to wear makeup. He played the part without makeup on Broadway. And that was supposed to be that made it okay. It made it okay at the time. Everyone kind of because the Equity really pulled the plug for actually took this very weird, unprecedented stand, and then backed down from their stand when the mayor got into it, and Cameron McIntosh threatened to not bring the show. So then everything got reversed. So it was this crazy confluence of events that are really. I mean, one of these days somebody will make like a Netflix movie about it, because it's a
very interesting thing. Like
it is
watching what people at the time, I guess they just weren't able to. They weren't ready to. Those conversations weren't had.
That's right. They were not had.
So
and now it did.
They had the feeling, but not the language.
That's right. And casting directors didn't have the language. They were very defensive. They were very like, well, we looked everywhere. We couldn't find anybody. All of that stuff.
The age-old excuse. Yeah.
And so now it isn't like that anymore. The conversation began with this controversy, and I'd say that's the most positive thing to come out of it. It was one of those things that felt like we lost the battle but won the war kind of things. It was like, in the moment, it felt like, oh my God, we lost this. This is terrible. We lost it. Right. But then after that, subsequently, there was not only, it must be acknowledged that show provided so many employment opportunities.
Exactly.
It's true.
It was a training ground for everyone of so many musical theater performers of my generation. So that has to be acknowledged. And also many other positive things that have come out of it, as well as this discussion about casting. And around then there started to be this discussion about casting people of color in the ensembles of shows, whether or not there was tokenism there, and whether or not you could, My One and Only had a black men and white women, and was that like okay to kind of color code a show and all of that stuff. And
well, I think
that and then also the whole issue about Phantom and Les Mis and the historical accuracy, that has now broken down that wall to a certain extent. You don't no longer say, well, Eponine has to be white, because Eponine would never be any other color than white. We don't say that anymore, and that's a direct relation to this conversation that happened in 1992.
Caroline Aquino coming with all of the facts. If I recall correctly, Equity allowed Jonathan Pryce to come, but every other afterwards was Asian, and I believe that's true. And then of course Lea Salonga became, she won a
that's right.
First Asian win a Tony.
That's right. And Jonathan, but however, Equity first denied his application for a visa to come, and then reversed its decision after this crazy backlash that happened, and then he was of course allowed to come.
You know what?
And he won the Tony too.
Yeah, that's right.
I have a question around the energy around.
Is this one of the 5?
No, it's a follow-up to 2. Oh. But like, it's around the energy of like standing up for yourself. Like, for you, is that like when you stand up for yourself, is that energy a hot thing, or is it more like no, this just needs to be taken care? Is it a hot energy, or is it a cooler energy?
I'm getting your interview style now with the and or kind of thing. The and or, like, pick one. It is none of these one or the other kinds of things, Jam. It is life, and life has got all these different kind of aspects to it. There is an element of this is very frightening. I don't like being put in this position, and I don't like that I'm being kind of thrust into this thing. And then there's another part of me that's like, oh, this feels very good. Somebody needs to do this, and this feels like the right thing to do. And they combine with each other, and they have to
exist together.
Yes, and then they throughout the different stages of the event, in this particular event, there are different like phases of freaking out or anger. It's like the stages of grief or something like that. There was a time when the phone was it was landline time. Phone was ringing off the hook with people from the press calling me, getting my home number, and asking me questions about it. But then there was a lot of how dare you and what do you think you're doing, and a lot of people weighing in, like Mayor Koch and all these different people saying, who does he think he is? What does he think he's saying? What is he saying? That only transvestites can play transvestites? And of course, here, isn't that interesting now?
Right.
We have, these brilliant trans actors playing trans roles.
Yeah.
Right.
I think a time when people thought, actors should be able to play trans.
Right.
We've only gotten where we are now through conversation. We have so much more conversation to go,
and pain, and dismissal, and being robbed, and being having to fight for things, and all of that stuff. It's like it feels wrong when I'm in it, because I'm an actor, and it feels like it's only the theater, everybody. But it does feel like weird to call it civil rights, but it's absolutely civil rights.
It just is.
Yeah. BD, so I will also let you know something about my interview style. Is that Ms.
Winfrey, please?
Yeah, because I often say things. Fuck an or. Things can be an and.
Sure.
Right?
Oh, yes.
And so I enjoy an and. So I give you options so that you can go, it's this and
oh, no, I know that. Yeah, I'm doing
it's the baker's wife.
I know that, yes. Yes.
So I'm going to follow up my part B of the following question and ask you question 3. I have a feeling that BD Wong likes to hang out with BD Wong. You feel to me very comfortable in your being, in your skin. And that is very attractive to me, right? And so I am curious about what are some of your favorite things about BD Wong?
Oh, no. What are them? Gosh, really?
I mean, that's the appearance. The appearance is that you're very comfortable in your
but that doesn't mean I want to list the things I love about myself.
No,
right?
but no. Well, what are some of the qualities that you're like? I like this. I'm all right
with this. Yes, right.
I like this about BD Wong.
I am activated by all kinds of conversation, and by conversation that is hopefully in some way an agent to some kind of action or change. I love that. I'm turned on by that. I'm turned on by being here with you guys and talking about this and having things go out into the into the universe, just like ideas or whatever. Yeah. And that came kind of from being an acting student who was taught that we're messengers, that we weren't really like performers. We weren't like learning accents and walking with a limp and all that stuff. It really was more like, no, there's an author. The author has these ideas and you need to embrace them, and put them out there and be the agent or the agency to it. And when I connected to that and I started to kind of take it to heart, it really amped up my enjoyment of the craft immensely. And it made me feel more that there was a potential for a kind of higher calling to be a performer, that you could actually kind of play a role in people thinking differently or whatever. And that's what we hope the theater does, is that people will come in. The entertainment is all great, but we do hope that people will come see something and think something differently, have a discussion about something, make a phone call that they weren't going to make before. All of these things that they're activating. I love that, and I like that.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what you mean, right?
Yeah. I like that.
And I like people. I mean, I I treasure being a performer and an actor because I fancy myself an observer of human behavior. Like I'll observe people or say, no, I think I know in this particular scene that I'm doing what this actually thing is. And it's a very weird thing that you see every once in a while when somebody is ... covering something up or acting embarrassed or, little things. And this is why the one thing I like about reality TV that it's not acting, and that sometimes you actually get to see an unguarded moment and you go, that's what it looks like when somebody's mad. That's really what it looks like. It's not this acting mad thing. It's this actually sometimes very quiet. You get to see different colors of something when they're really, really, really real. And like you watch like The Amazing Race and you get to see someone who's actually winning and what they actually look like when they're winning. And sometimes it's not like what you think that they are like.
Yeah.
Right.
And I love that. I'm into that. That I have more of a patience for that than a lot of people. And I'm a lucky guy. I have very, really great family and friends. I have, and this is a thing that I evaluate in other people. I don't judge them or anything like that, but I am attracted to people that have good relationships with their parents, and I'm attracted to people that have strong friendship relationships, and I try to be as close and tight with my own smaller circle of friends as possible. And that's very fueling and really helps to make your life a better life. And I'm also kind of super patient, like maybe to a fault. I was actually very good in the pandemic, not going out and being kind of at home and kind of dedicating myself to various tasks or projects and being okay with it. To a certain extent, there was a time when I was saying, no, that I'm ready for this to be over now. I'm really ready to do it. But I was still okay. I was not at all undone by it.
Yeah. I just want to throw up some things here in anticipation of the next question.
I was going to say some of these lead into your.
Wow.
Paywall, BD, swoon.
Look at that gorgeous picture.
He looks younger than he did 20 years ago. You want to look at Elle Morgan Lee's picture again?
Yes.
I know. She's looking real good, right?
Yes.
She can take a photo. That's true.
Yeah. So the next question. I saw a video of you answering thirst tweets about yourself. And it's delicious. It's one of the most delicious things because, like,
I didn't know this existed. I watched it and I was like, wow.
People say some filthy things about you, and you are so there for it. Like you're like,
I am. And like I said in the beginning, I was really like not looking forward to doing this. They asked me to do it. I said, well, that sounds like fun, but it's only as good as the stuff that actually gets sent in.
Right.
And they found stuff that was kind of appropriately
They found the hits.
terrible.
It was great.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's you reading your thirst tweets, and then you have this video of you sucking on a chicken wing.
Well, no, you don't have to say it like that. You don't have to say it like that.
Well, I'm not finished asking the question because that chicken wing video made some people understand some things about themselves, BD Wong, is what I want to say.
Right.
But I will say it actually just taught me how to eat a chicken wing.
Exactly. It's practical.
That was actually informative.
You're there eating a chicken wing looking like $1 million, by the way, in that suit.
Grooming. It's not me. It's grooming. It was a GQ kind of extra.
Oh, Morgan is like, I need to see this.
Go on to it right now, Morgan. Just all you have to do is Google my name and chicken wing, and it'll come right up.
It came right up. I watched it yesterday.
And then, you watched it yesterday.
I did.
And then you made chicken wings that night.
I didn't, but damn it, now I want to.
Yeah.
But so the question is around that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How does it feel being a sex
symbol?
Okay.
Like, what is there a feeling? Like,
yes, and I will. I can give you a really honest answer to this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am very. I wouldn't use the word insecure, but I grew up feeling very outside. I was, among many other things that I did in my life, I was part of a youth group in Chinatown, San Francisco, with a lot of boys who were very sports centric. And I was always drawing, and I wanted to do theater, and and so I felt by them in a borderline bullyish kind of way, not sexy at all. I felt like I was the opposite of kind of any of this. And so I've struggled, like a lot of young gay people, with my own identity and understanding what value, if any, I bring to any equation. And I've aspired to, I don't know how's that? What's the end of that sentence? I've aspired to, I've always coveted that idea that somebody would be called a sex symbol, and never ever attached myself to that thing. I really don't. I mean, I'm there's lots of reasons, and we're not going to get into an argument here, but there's a lot of reasons why a lot of people don't think of me as a sex symbol. There's a lot of reasons. There are that, standard, maybe shallow people, or certainly in the gay dating world, there are a lot of weird kind of ideas that people have out there. And so I've never felt the way you're describing me in that way. So I am extremely grateful and it's very comforting to me to be at this age in my life and not really thinking, I'm not going to worry about that anymore. I'm not going to try to be hot anymore. I'm not going to, try to make all the choices to line all that up so that someone can say this thing. I'm just going to, and that kind of creates an inner peace that I think is probably useful in the messaging that you need to have in order to be confident and considered, attractive, I guess. I don't know.
That. That is good. That is
Al
good.
Morgan says, you're not listening to the right people. And LaDonna Bird said, I had chicken wings last night, and they were delicious.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. Well, I hope you ate them right, because this is a lesson on how to eat them.
It really
it's not just eating them. It's a lesson in how to eat them.
Yeah. It was eye-opening. It made so much sense to me.
I mean, that suit fit you like,
I'm telling you, fittings are not, they don't make, that's not, I didn't have anything to do with that. That's not, I don't get credit for that.
I think
it's a fitting for a reason.
The attitude in like a $3,000 suit or whatever.
Yes, that's right.
You're going to eat a chicken wing different when you're like,
that's right.
Like that.
That's right. I did enjoy doing that. And it was a thing. It was an interview for GQ magazine and a photo shoot for GQ magazine. I forgot what there were a bunch of different character actors. And I got chosen to be one of them, and it was like 6 character actors or something like that. And then they said, "Okay, we have this extra we do this kind of content for the YouTube, video content." And so we like people to kind of teach something that new that they never did before, or do you have a hack, or do you know how to can you tie a cherry stem in your mouth with a knot, and I said, and I said, well, I could eat it. Chicken wing, can you get me some chicken wings? And they went out and they got chicken wings. And it was one take.
That's when you've made it.
That's
I need chicken wings.
Summoning chicken wings. Yes.
Yeah.
So Jenny Vass says, very sexy, BD, and also inspiring and smart. And Aline wants to know, and who taught you?
Okay, I can't say I invented this or made this up, but it came from years of me struggling with how to eat chicken wings, and
it's difficult,
trial and error, figuring out how to do it so that it was satisfying to me. Because the thing and we're talking about basically the flat, right? The flat is my mother's favorite part of the wing that a lot of people don't want to deal with. And this is the reason why they don't want to deal with it, because they don't want to put their tongue between the two bones. They don't want to be nibbling around two skinny little bones. What you want is a satisfying mouthful of flat meat. Right. And so I figured out a way to do this. You can watch. I'm not going to tell you how to do it now. You can watch it.
It's brilliant.
But that was what it came on. I mean, me trying different ways over the years, and me finally going, "Oh, I have a system that really works." Right? And me showing my friends, and my friends going, "Wow, that kind of really does work."
Yeah.
And then doing it over. And then when he asked me this, I thought, well, there is this weird thing I do at parties with my friends. When we have chicken wings, I'd say, hey, who knows how to do the chicken wing? And I do it. And so that was how it came about.
Well, I have to say, I definitely, I was a pupil. I learned. I learned.
Yeah, and there are many. I have many disciples of the chicken wing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would like to talk about Songs from an Unmade Bed for a moment, because it was like it was very early in the pandemic that this happened. So I remember this as being one of the first things that I like, well, I'm just sitting here, so I hear this is on tonight, so let me watch.
God bless you. God bless you.
It was a fundraiser you did for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. And it's sort of a song cycle in a way. I think Mark Campbell is the songwriter.
No, he's the
lyricist.
And he sent the
and
lyrics.
There were several.
Yeah, he sent the lyrics. No, he sent the lyrics to 18 different songs, 18 different composers. Oh, one lyricist. And it was originally produced at New York Theater Workshop, home of Rent and all that.
Right.
Once. And was a very successful production starring Michael Winther, a solo show in which one man sings these 18 songs.
Yeah.
The songs were about it's okay if I describe it now.
Oh, yes, please.
The songs were about kind of loneliness and isolation and anxiety and wanting
everything we were going
people.
through.
And I loved this material from 2005 when I saw it, and I always kind of wanted to do it. I approached Mark Campbell several times saying, hey, I think it would be great to, I don't know if I want to do it on stage, but I think it'd be really cool to make a movie of this. And so I was talking to him in 2019 about making a movie. Nothing really ever came of it because the 18 composers are all over the world, and it's hard to chase them. And whenever you have something, rights are such a big part of it, and 18 composers makes a project like this kind of untenable. And then but I always loved this material, and to the point where I used it to vocalize. I would sing every day. I would put the CD on, not every day, but whenever I vocalized.
Oh, wow.
I would put it on and I would sing the songs. And then after March and during the pandemic, I was in the shower singing the songs, and I was like, wow, actually, I'm not just singing the song. I'm really landing on what the song is about right now. And this particular song is about something that feels very pandemic related. It's a guy in his apartment singing about New York, one of those things. That's one of it. And he's also singing about wanting to connect with other people. And it was written post-AIDS. And it had to do with a kind of the grief and the melancholy. And it touched on it very elegantly and very poetically, not in a really heavy-handed way, about how we all felt at that time, kind of coming out of it and what next, and can we connect with other people, and is there was fear and all of that stuff. And I went to Mark and I said, I think this would be incredible to make a song cycle series of music videos out of, whether you call it a movie or not. We called it a movie. And I thought, oh, gee, if I only had some kind of like a collaborator, like a person that made videos I could do this with. And I realized that I'd married one, like just a year and a half
kind of
earlier.
married one. Yeah.
Yes. And my husband, Reichert, is a videographer, content maker, a former dance background. He's a video editor and does special effects and all that stuff. And it was like kind of, I had a lightning bolt moment. Oh, wow, this is the thing we kind of always talked, well, it would be great if we could do something together sometime, but nothing ever really came of that. And so I said, well, the only way that we would do this is if he loved it. And so I played it for him. I gave him the CD, and he did love it, which was surprising because I didn't expect him to connect to it the same way that I did, because we have different tastes in music, and we have different, comes from different places in that way. And so we spent 4 months in our apartment, in every different corner of the apartment, setting it up in different ways. And also underneath.
How was that?
It was.
You're already in the apartment together during a pandemic. And what is it like doing something like that with your husband?
I'd say for the most part, extremely positive. Like the things that were sensitive about it is when you started getting into, oh, wow, we're really fighting for our creative belief here in this, debating this, whether should this be this or should this be that? Well, I think it should be this. All that you do in collaboration, right? One thing that I learned was that when you're collaborating with your person, you normally would put your person's feelings before you and everything. And then when you start getting into the art of it, you have to decide, well, is this worth it to me to kind of like say,
Right.
I don't think that's a good idea, or should I defer, or will that dilute the work and all of that? And it actually became really great for us. We were really honest with each other. We enjoyed it, and he brought so much to it. I think he was afraid at the beginning that I would just tell him everything that I wanted him to do. Like I was like, let's make this, and you're going to do this, and put the camera over there. But then he really had great agency as a director of photography and as the editor and conceptor, the person who conceived a lot of the concepts of the videos. In fact, the one video that Theater Authority or Equity allowed us to keep online that's still there is the one that he conceived. It's one of them that he was the one who made the concept out of, and said, I think I know exactly how to do this song, and just stick with me, and this is how we'll do it. And it came out, it was one of the more beautiful ones, I think.
Yeah.
And
it was really a wonderful.
It turned out great. We involved other people that we love and know and brought them on board. And some of them were just hosts for the evening, but other people were in videos. And that was really fun too. And were
these kinds of things, like these sort of like at home or video projects like that we've all had to do now during the last year, were those things you had done before at all
with each other? No. We were really going, I think this is what people are going to have to start doing now. This is what it felt like in June and May. We started in the end of April and we aired it on August, and we were like, I think this is all we could do. And I was calling our friend Jim Morgan, and audio engineer, and we were doing it all on the phone and in email, sending files to each other. And hey, can you pitch correct this? And hey, can you just take this and cut this off and change this? And then my friend Wayne, my collaborator, my one of my best friends, he's in San Francisco, and he did orchestrations, and so that all just came together in this really wonderful way. And another engineer friend of ours, Curtis Moore, who was upstate in his house. Everyone was in, this is not news now. This is how we do things now. But it was really exciting, actually. When it all started to come together, and it looked real, it looked like something, it wasn't the most high end or high budget thing, but it did actually have an identity that wasn't just me sitting here singing. It was
beautifully put together. L. Morgan wants to know, was there a drone used? The filming was beautiful.
I was the only drone that was used.
So I keep saying
I just want to point out, I've put a donate button to Broadway Cares.
Yes, thank you.
So it's in the chat of both YouTube and Facebook. But you can we're gonna see a performance from this larger piece, and it would be great if you can to send a little money to Broadway Cares.
Yes. The COVID-19 Emergency Assistance Fund. That was, we made we streamed it once, and then as they allow it, only for 4 more days to people to watch it after the fact, and it raised $111,000, and we were really proud of it. It was one of those experiences that was very 3-dimensional. We felt like we had raised some money, so it was time well spent. It was great for our relationship. Creatively, we felt like we were really experiencing something that was real, that we were, it was not really compromised. It was very challenging. It was great.
Yay. Do you think that, we keep talking about what theater and the arts and just all of this industry is going to look like when we come back? Since I guess that's what everyone's talking about. We're coming back. Things are coming back. But we've all learned these things during the pandemic, like new skills, new ways to do things.
Yes.
So I'm imagining a world that's sort of a hybrid of all of that. Jam and I started this whole show it was phone conversations at first. It was conversations on Instagram for a little bit, and it's become this thing. And we talk about, well, what will it be when we go back to life? Will there be a live stage version of this? Or what's the hybrid version?
Yes. Right.
we're talking to other people about what sort of energy they want to bring into spaces. We were in a recording studio today, Jam and I, with people we hadn't seen in a year. We hadn't seen each other in a year.
And you guys didn't say what that was. You didn't.
We
say
can't.
We
Oh, you
can't.
can't. Oh, you didn't say you couldn't.
I don't even know. We might have already said too much
We
about
might
it.
have already said too much, but we.
Oh no, you didn't.
We were in a recording studio today, and
Yes, I get it. That's great.
We had to pause from the task at hand
Yeah.
to do a thing,
Have a moment.
to have a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think the space of the arts looks like when we come back? Is there some sort, with all of this information we have of what we need energetically and the new skills we have, what do you think it looks like when we get back?
I think it looks like people having more open minds about their own creativity and their own ability to think outside the box and what their resourcefulness will be when encountering any task. And I think that a lot of people, I mean, in as basic a way as we have 9 to 5 people who are working at home now, never thought they would do that.
Right.
And then
Right.
bosses and office managers and CEOs going, no, well, everyone's going to stay home now.
Yep.
And we're going to put together a thing. Well, maybe some people will come in 2 or 3 times a week, but whatever. Remember in the movie 9 to 5, where she says job sharing.
They were
And
job
there's like a
sharing.
radical idea of job
Right.
sharing, and one woman leaves and another woman takes her place.
Right.
These kinds of things could not be thought of unless someone forces them to happen.
Right. And now they're actually
and now
happening.
they're actual, and they can and what they do is they show that a person, when push comes to shove, doesn't have to be so rigid. When it's a life or death situation, you better figure out a way to make it work. If you're going to lose your business if you don't let people start working from home, even though you were dead against it before.
Yeah.
So that just the idea of opening the heart a little bit to ideas that you were not open to before is the beginning to really, really exciting creativity and exciting ideas. I saw a listing for a live stream of a play that's being read, in which it's a 3-character play, and 2 of the actors are on stage together, and one of them is virtual. I think the person is either a monitor on the stage, or I don't know how they're actually doing it, and I'm not exactly sure. But
I think that's
you
amazing.
came up with that idea like a year and a half ago. Somebody would say, "Get out of here!
I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I don't want to see that."
Yeah.
But now we get it.
Yeah.
You know, and we really want, you know, and you know, there's a lot of things we couldn't do. We couldn't really have a real reading of a musical. You know, I co-wrote a musical that is in development now, and working on that. You couldn't really work on that while we were in development. Chorus and you know, music rehearsals and Zoom and delay and lag and all that stuff. But you can put together a presentation of a musical. We did it, and there are other ways to do it. You can have, as you can see, like the Hairspray video and all the other videos that were made where everyone's in a grid and there are 30 people singing at the same time and it sounds glorious. You can do that.
You can do it.
Yeah. So there's amazing things that you can do. And we just needed to kind of get kicked in the pants a little and be told that
I'm calling it a gap year.
Yes. But a gap year in the life of the theater, in the history of the timeline of the theater. But as far as us as creative human beings and creative creatures, we didn't waste kind of learning about ourselves.
That's true.
I think we did learn things about ourselves. I certainly learned things about myself that I would not have thought before, you know, that I would be able to do, or that I would want to do, or that I would feel satisfied by doing certain things.
In a way, it almost felt like people learned how to learn. You know, I think that's something that artists know how to do. Like, we have to learn lines, or we have to learn new, but like in general, like people had to learn new ways of doing things. Even just like all of the baking bread that was happening. Like, people were like,
remember learn it once and for all.
Yeah, you know, like people, like you learned how to sew during that time. Like people were like learning all kinds of. You learned how to put together a whole movie in your, you know what I mean? Like there were just. I learned how to do this thing. You know, it was there was like a lot of learning that was happening, and I think it's kind of like.
And what learning is I guess that's what I mean, is that the fundamental requirement of learning requires an openness to learn. Because that's what keeps you from. So like I said before, you had to be forced to kind of get to the place where oh, I'm going to make bread. Okay, whatever.
Right.
I'm going to make bread. I never thought I was the person who made bread before, but okay, I'm going to make bread. And so being forced it's like the thing. You go out on Friday night and your friends drag you out and you have the best time of your life. And at 5:30, you're thinking, oh my God,
Oh yeah, I'm not going. Yeah.
And your human nature digs its heels into to certain things. It's a human thing to do. But the more that you realize and you can learn how to not do that, life is just better than when you do that. When you think, I know I'm going to feel that way, so I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go to this wedding, which I'm like, oh gosh, another wedding. And then you go to the wedding and you just, oh my God, I'm so glad I went to see those two people have that experience, really, and to be there for that. And I think that's wonderful. I think that's important, actually.
Tom Lorio referencing 9 to 5.
9 to 5.
Atta girl.
Atta girl.
Yeah.
Atta girl. And Christine Shepstrong, growing our brains. That's right.
It's important.
Growing our brains.
It is, yeah. And I believe, like we all lived through the 90s and AIDS and all of that. And Broadway Cares was born from AIDS. This incredible Broadway Bears came from AIDS. These incredible feats of human kindness and generosity and raising millions of dollars for one's own community. That would not have happened before. That, I'm not saying that we needed AIDS we wanted AIDS.
Right.
We did not want AIDS. We would do anything to have all of those people, our dear loved ones, back and everything. But if you want to look for something that good came out of it, these are the things that came out of it.
That's
and there's
true.
always something.
Yeah.
And that's what this is for us. I think there's a sense of thinking about how this whole thing about wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, like, okay, I have to think about how I really feel about this and process it and be introspective and have a point of view where, and this is a situation where we're all in the same boat and we're all kind of processing it differently. And it's a useful moment to try to observe, again, observing human behavior and how different people behave to this whole, just the notion of whether you're going to go out and have a mask on or not. It's interesting.
Michelle says, I learned that I can be my children's teacher for 1.5 years and they're still alive.
And you are still alive.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Actually, yes, that's true. That's true.
And I'm just putting up this donate information again. It's in the chat for both Facebook and YouTube. So if you can, throw some money to Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS. They do wonderful work, not only here in New York, but all across the country. So
they're spectacular. And we loved having done it with them. They were super supportive of us doing this project. They were really into our creativity and all that. They were really supportive. Tom Viola is an absolute
wonderful
hero. Yeah.
He really is. Should we go to our quick 5?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I was going to ask about what it was like filming Jurassic Park at the beginning of the pandemic, but
I will say it was really interesting, and I was happy to get away. I went to London.
Yeah.
And I was in London for the end of the summer and the fall. I came home a little bit after Halloween, I think. Spent Halloween in London, and it was surreal, and it was the first movie to be back in production that was shut down. So the COVID protocols were new and very conservative and very safe feeling. We felt so safe. We were so grateful that we were put in this position where, yes, we had to do the work, but in order to do so, we were given the tools that we needed to have and to be safe with each other. We were quarantined all in the same hotel. And so there was a kind of a summer camp feeling to it.
Right.
Like, I'll meet down in the common room and we're going to have happy hour, and everybody's all been quarantined. So we didn't have to wear masks with each other in that
These were your people.
Yeah. And so there was and it was during election night. And we went through the whole thing. We got to election night and we were all working that night on the same scene. We were all in it together. All the principals of the movie just happened to be working that night. And that was super memorable. Like, come in from a take from going out, running around,
what's going on?
By dinosaurs, and okay, where are we now? Like, what's going on with Maricopa County? Yeah.
Maricopa County.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's fantastic. Yeah. All right. So BD Wong, it's now time for
our
quick five. Quick five.
Now, is there a time limit? Do I get time?
There's no time limit, but they're
fast.
They're quick.
You know,
It's the first thing that comes to mind. There is no wrong answer.
and what's been really interesting about the quick five is that we've kept the same 5 questions for all the guests.
Oh,
Yes.
so if I had watched another person's, I'd know what they were.
Yes, but
And
it's very interesting to us where people match up.
Yeah, where people match
We've
up,
learned a lot about people.
and the thought process of what comes when you answer the
Yes.
quick
We'll have
five,
to
quick
do
five.
this
quick
has to be ASMR.
five.
It has to be ASMR.
It has. We have to do it.
Okay.
Okay.
I will ask the first question.
Ask the first question, James.
Okay, number 1. Toni Collette returns to Broadway in what musical?
Mame.
Oh,
We had another meme somewhere. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Leslie Kritzer.
Can I just say Mame or Sweeney Todd?
as who is Sweeney Todd?
As Mrs. Lovett and Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think we had a Sweeney Todd too. Did we have a Sweeney Todd? She'd
I
be
believe
kind of
so.
a sexy Mrs. Lovett in a way.
I'm down for it.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe. All right, BD Wong. Your Audra McDonald dream role.
You mean me as Audra McDonald or Audra McDonald in the role?
What you would like to
Sure.
see her do?
Oh. Ooh, quick. Oh my gosh. I mean, we've been so blessed already.
Right?
Let's see. Wow, that's really hard, actually. Oh golly.
Or invent a show. It could
Yes,
be a show
right,
you invent.
right. Yeah, it could be a show that I invent. I would say then. No, gosh, I'm completely drawing blank on this because I guess because I'm too reverent of
That's
La McDonald.
It's difficult.
Would you like to see Audra
Oh, you know what?
McDonald
I'd like to see her in the callous part in Masterclass.
Oh.
And then another sweet young thing coming in to play her part.
I would absolutely love that.
Yeah, I know it'd be great. Right?
Wow, that would be great.
Oh, okay. Question number 3.
This
Mandy,
one. Oh, yes. Go, James.
Mandy Patinkin. Yes, no, or maybe.
I say maybe. Because there are lots of facets to that mirror ball.
Right.
And some of them are cracked.
Some
of them are pristine.
This is very true. It's very true. And you never know which side you're going to get.
But it's turning constantly.
Right.
And the music is so great.
Music is excellent.
And there's pop.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so
And there's poppers, you said?
Yes. It's a whole
That's
world.
the maybe.
That is
Yeah, but it has to be
God.
maybe. It has to be maybe. There is brilliance and there's like what?
Yeah. It's a maybe. It's a hard maybe.
Yeah.
Oh
It's a good maybe.
It's a good maybe.
Tremendous respect for that man's career.
Yeah, but it's definitely
talent.
maybe.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love that.
You know what?
answer.
We're all maybe.
Yeah,
We're all a
We're all
maybe.
Yeah. It's true.
Oh, this is a fun one.
BD Wong. Your cell phone goes off during a Patti LuPone performance. Where do you hide?
I don't.
Oh.
Yes.
What do you
That is-
do?
No, that
I think I take my shirt off for the flogging.
and you're like, give it to
I
me.
think I lower my pants for the flogging.
Because she's coming for you. She's going to come for you.
We
She's
know
going
how
to
the story
stop
ends.
the show and come get you.
Yes. So make it good for the audience.
That is true.
I am a performer after all.
Oh my God.
Now, question number 5 in the quick 5 is actually a game within a game.
Oh my
it's
goodness.
Right, it's very confusing. It's called Pick a Pair of Patties.
Oh.
Your patties in question are Patti LuPone,
Mm-hmm.
Patti LaBelle,
Mm-hmm.
and Patti Murin.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Oh.
I think I need more patties.
Corey wants a video, please, of you getting flogged by Patti LuPone.
Yes. Only
Now-
if, Corey, you'll have to take it yourself.
Now, you need to do a bank robbery. So you have to pick a heavy, someone to go in and get the money,
okay.
and you have to pick a getaway driver. Patti LuPone, Patti LaBelle, Patty Murin.
Patti LuPone is definitely the heavy.
Oh, okay.
And Patty Murin is definitely the getaway driver.
Wow.
And
That's
who
our.
else? Why is that so surprising?
That's our first Patty Murin
That's
getaway driver.
Yeah, that's our first Patty Murin getaway driver. Everybody has picked Patti LaBelle as the getaway driver.
Oh God, no. You mean where are my backup singers, Patti LaBelle?
Oh my God! You know what? That's actually, but she got the lyrics. No, she didn't.
She did not.
She had the
You
tune
want to
down.
put her behind the wheel of the car, okay?
When you're in a
people,
hurry,
fine,
too.
People, fine.
Oh, you know what? I really never realized that.
Wow. This is
That's
the thing that I
true.
love about Pick a Pair of Patties. There's a reasoning behind it. So and because like Patti LuPone is just good, like, she walks in and you
Obvious.
Cell
immediately
phone,
know.
flogging,
Yeah,
etc.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Now,
give me the
some
money
people have
now.
flipped it and
Give me the
said
money.
that Patty Murin would be the heavy because she's very like quiet and like you wouldn't expect her
Sure.
to.
I mean,
But
I don't, like you said, there's no wrong answer.
there is no wrong answer. I like where you went with that.
I do.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I like that you like it.
That that is how we do our quick five.
Oh my gosh.
Great.
Hopefully it wasn't too painful.
Not at all.
So, there's a comment. Oh, Allison Connolly says, brilliant. Brilliant.
That could be
Well,
about so many things.
I mean, it's about
When
you.
someone says brilliant, you just go with it. You're like,
Yeah.
oh,
That
obviously.
is so true.
It's just
Right?
all
You just
about
say
you.
thank you. Just say thank you.
Yeah. BD Wong, these are your ats at
Go
Wong
follow
BD
him
yes,
in
yes.
on
places.
Instagram and Twitter. This is where you can find the delicious, the wonderful. I mean, and look at this headshot. Like, look at you looking like, just like, delicious man
Delicious. Okay.
of scintillating wonder.
Wow. That's
Mhm.
so
Love that.
nice. Thanks.
That's what you are, BD Wong, at Wong BD, Instagram, on Twitter.
So we have a treat. We're going to play a clip for the folks of "I Miss New York" from the
great.
show, and then we will come back and we'll do our.
So
One
this
Wishes.
is one of the songs from
Yes.
an Unmade Bed that we
Yes.
talked
Yes.
about. The one that my husband Record is the mastermind behind.
Yes,
And I'll tell you how it was made when we come back.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy "I Miss New York" from
It's beautiful.
Songs from an Unmade Bed, from a fundraiser for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. Enjoy.
I miss New York. The feeling worsens every year. I miss New York, and I live here. Where is that place, that dazzling place I used to know? That breathless rush, where did it go? I miss the nights of getting home at 5 a.m. and many friends. It's true, I do miss them. I miss New York and would return there if I could, but I'm afraid it's lost for good. Some will say that there's a darker truth to this. Some will say it's really just my youth I miss, and that may well be be the case, I know. Even so, I miss New York. Whatever happened to Times Square? I miss New York. I still live there.
Bravo!
It's beautiful.
Thanks.
It's
That
just
brings back
beautiful.
so many nice memories.
So
and this
there's a
is
lot
how
of questions
Morgan is like,
about
this is where I wondered about a drone. This
No,
outside building
okay.
shot.
Yes.
how was that done?
Yes. Okay. Okay. Now I understand why you're asking that. We live on the second floor of our building.
Okay.
And we just happen to have this terrible skyscraper that's being built next door. It's been a terrible nightmare. It's so noisy and terrible. But then they had to build the scaffold, and that meant that when you could open up the window and you could walk out onto the second floor, on this scaffold that was above the thing. So we took advantage of it. We always call it our terrace, but it's like a piece of, it's terrible. It's like full of rusty nails and stuff like that. But we went out there with a tripod. He went out there, and I put on a whole bunch of different outfits, and we put a green screen up behind the window, and then he tiled the window, and,
Right.
and created the sequence. I did was sing the
awesome.
song a bunch of times. He created the progression and the story or the narrative or whatever you call the connecting dots of all of the different people.
That's so cool.
All I do
That's
is change clothes a bunch
fantastic.
of times.
Jenny Vath says it was stunning. Vinny
Yes.
Mussolino is giving you some claps and going, remember 5
Remember
a.m.
5 a.m.?
Remember 5 a.m.
And Carolina Aquino just saying, it's beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
BT Wong, you have been an absolute pleasure.
I have, haven't I?
You have been delicious and wonderful and glorious, scintillating.
We started with scintillating and we end with scintillating.
Yeah. So we always end our show with one wish for the folks.
One wish. Also, I try to get people to how do I around your total was born in Slappy and the Stinkers? Have to acknowledge a family bond around your tour de force performance, Slappy and the Stinkers.
That's nice.
Okay.
That's a movie that I made with 5 8-year-olds. It's kind of like a what do you call it? Our gang kind of movie. They're stinkers. They're 5 kids and they're like uptight teacher at their boarding school or whatever. And I'm chasing them around and falling down in the water and stuff like that. And, it is a movie that people watch with their kids. And so it is a lot of favorite movie of a lot of 8-year-old kids.
Oh,
so that's a nice thing. Yeah. It's a very good memory for me. It was really, really fun movie to be in. And it was it was the only movie I was ever in where I was number 1 on the call sheet. So that was
It's coming. It's coming again.
It's coming.
Oh yes, thanks.
Yeah.
So BD Wong, can we try and come up with a spontaneous theme song for this segment called One Wish? So I'm just going to count us in.
Jam's goal is that one day everyone will sing the same note together or sing a chord. He wants to be the first person to make that happen over a streaming service.
Yes.
Yes.
It's never going to happen right.
But I don't understand what's happening right about what's about to happen. You're going to play something?
No, he wants us to just sing the words one
yes,
wish
spontaneously
Okay.
come
in
up
the
with-
hopes that in his mind it will be a perfect chord.
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Ready?
One
wish. Really, for me, it's the fact that it's never going to work, but that everyone tries.
But you know what? That was probably one of the best ones we've ever
That
had.
actually was.
I decided not to waver. I just decided to stick with it and
Do
go for like
the thing.
atonal if necessary.
It was good.
Um,
Yes, it was a little Michael John crunchy.
Yes, it
Michael
was.
John.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Jam, do you have a wish for the people this week?
I think my one wish is around keeping, keep learning, keep learning new skills, keep learning new ways to interact and care for one another. Let's keep that openness to learning going, even as we get back to things opening and get back to things being the way they were. I like that we had to be open to learning and learning some new things. So that is my one wish for everyone this week, is to just keep learning.
That's lovely.
Keep learning.
I wish that, or my one wish for folks is that they are prepared to cry, because it was a lot of emotion today.
Yeah.
And it was immediate. It was
Yeah.
very at the thought of seeing you was about here. And then at actually seeing you, it was immediate.
So I literally had a breakdown on the subway train heading to you. Because I was
We hadn't even seen
like,
each other yet.
I was getting there, and then I was like, wait a minute, I'm gonna see literally I burst
So
into
just
tears in Astoria.
Save a space for yourself, save time, let yourself just hug your friends and cry, because it's going to happen. I know everybody hasn't seen everybody yet, but it's going to happen. So save a space and cry together. It's okay.
I think that's so nice. I had the same experience with my really good friend Grant, who I hadn't seen in so long. And I wasn't, I kind of had, when I had my vaccination, I got a little kind of misty, and when I looked at various things over the last few weeks, and I knew that there was an element of emotion over it, but I wasn't ready for the kind of depth of just a sense of, I think what I was reminded of is, this is so great, because I'm reminded of what I feel for you. I have this feeling of you're in my arms, and I'm thinking, is this what it feels like to how I feel about you? And I'm not forced to think about that ever or often. And so how nice to be able to do that, and how nice to be able to, just to have that experience. But then I have to come up with a wish.
Yes.
I really don't know what I'm about to say, but sometimes something comes out when I'm in the middle of talking.
That's the best way.
Yeah, because I wish that I'm trying to put my finger on this thing that's happening that I'm wishing for. And that is, I'm very interested in this whole moment of time in which we're all so nervous and not sure how we even feel about things. This whole idea of, like I said before, wearing a mask, and whether I do it, and should we be judging people that aren't wearing masks? And wait a second, but shouldn't we be cautious? And isn't it okay if I'm cautious, even if you don't want to be cautious? And all of that kind of discord, because human beings are going to be who they are, and they come to different equations based upon our personal experience and everything from different places. And so what I wish is that we are open. First of all, I think what I wish is for us to realize that it's going to be okay. I think we forget maybe sometimes, or we're still caught up in the great fear of catching it or giving it to someone, or worrying about our parents or our grandparents, or worrying about what this all means. I think I would never say it was over, but I would say I think maybe the worst is over, and I think it would be okay to say that, and maybe it's nice to think that.
Right.
And so I wish for us to let ourselves off the hook from the worst part of the worst things that we've felt, and moving into this reunion, emotional, warm, fuzzy feeling, positive feeling, positive tears, and positive hopes for the future, in a way that we can embrace that. Why waste that? Why let that go by without really embracing it? Because we'll say, oh my God. And then there's that time when we were finding out about all the shows that were coming back, and we were doing that, and we were still also grumpy and weird.
Right.
We're like, hey, let's kind of like, this is it. It's happening. You guys, it's happening. I think it's actually happening. And it's like, no, the producers of the Broadway shows are not jumping the gun. It's okay. They're doing what they're going to do. It's actually supposed to be the way it is. You don't have to get a ticket if you don't want to.
Right.
But it's okay. Somebody, it's not gonna. I think the days of us like spiking and all of that, I think we might have, and then we can be proud of ourselves of our role that we played in that. I think that's really nice.
Yeah, I like that. I do.
BD Wong.
Yes.
You are wonderful.
Wonderful.
That's nice. Thank you.
Oh.
You guys are great. I love you guys. I think I wouldn't enjoy this so much with just any average regular guys that would ask me to do such a thing. I really enjoyed doing this with you.
It made us feel like we were somebody when you said you would do it. I'm
like,
not
what?
gonna lie.
Let's not go that far.
I mean, like, you were like,
No, but this has been an absolute pleasure and an honor. So we thank you so very much.
And thank you. Yes.
Again, these are
my handles.
Your handles. Saquon calls them the ats. At Wong BD on Instagram and Twitter. And so you can follow him there. And again, please think about giving a donation to Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS.
Yes.
We would greatly appreciate that.
And also, do you know we need a drum roll for what's happening? Do we want to announce next week's guest?
Oh, I can't wait to hear.
Our guest next week is. Do you have jelly bean? No,
I have it's like Swedish fish and Smarties.
Okay, just
because again,
put your fingers.
Broadway is going to get the body that Broadway gets.
So let's get the body that Broadway deserves.
Thank you. You understand me. So there's a drum roll of candy.
All right, and so next week. Our guest is going to be
Andre Ward.
Andre Ward. The wonderful, the beautiful, the gloriously talented Mr. Andre Ward.
Yay.
Andre is a good... Ooh, candy roll. We need to make that a thing.
Yes.
Ooh,
candy roll.
Yes.
I don't need a drum roll. I need a candy roll. Caroline Aquino says the pillow for this week is Broadway's going to get
the body that Broadway gets.
That Broadway gets.
Mm-hmm.
And Vinny Mussolino is very excited about Andre Ward. He's like, yeah, Andre. What are you and Andre Ward doing? Okay, these are our ats at 5QJ
go follow us and harass us.
Hashtag 5QJNJ. And I need to update this with just our website, which is 5QJNJ.com.
And do you guys post the actual videos there?
Yes.
Yeah,
so the whole episode
all of the
will
shows
be there.
live there in perpetuity, so that you can go back and watch old episodes.
I can just sit at home and watch myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our season 1 finale is coming up in a couple weeks, and we are planning a little retrospective of some
Although
video clips.
I've been very bad about looking back at all the episodes. James has been looking back. I have not. And Vinny Mussolino is going, shh. So that means him and Andre were doing something somewhere in the Broadway Cares office. You know what I'm saying? Hello.
So there's a lot of clips out there of the show, and there's some very fun stuff to see.
Yeah, we've had some fun guests. Saquon and Leslie Kritzer was hilarious.
Elizabeth Stanley last week was lovely.
Yes, we had some live performances. Amy
Bonnie
Lynn
Milligan.
Bonnie Milligan.
Yeah.
Sang beautifully.
Wonderful.
Amy
It's
Lynn
been good. It's been very good.
Sang with her husband accompanying her on a bass tenor sax at like 10 whatever.
Oh yes, you did mention that to me. I heard about that.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's been
kind of amazing.
Quite lovely. We're very excited.
It was
Wonderful.
quite amazing. Does anybody have anything
Before we leave?
What could there be?
Okay.
What could be left?
Once again, these are BD Wong's his handles at WongBD, Instagram and Twitter. BD, you have been delicious. You have been wonderful. We're grateful for you.
Yes, very much.
I wish you safety. I wish you continued learning. I wish you continued joy and success and health. And
yes, me too.
Health for your family
Thank you.
and all of your friends. You have wonderful friends. Please tell
thank you.
Anastasia Barzi hello for us.
Yes,
we loved hanging out with her that night
great.
After the show. She is delightful.
She'll be so happy to hear that.
But with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to say good night. And so, BD, I'm going to do the thing and the broadcast, but if you can stay, we'll do our proper goodbyes in the green room, okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Night, everybody. And we'll see you next week. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.